As expected from Fina, Pirate Princess Episode 6, we did get a lot of insights out of Abel. Let's jump into it. So thankfully the show kind of saves itself. I know I criticize a lot in the idea that these goblin knights couldn't just rush up there and get past the explosives in their lightning speed they're able to do, but in fact they were protecting Karen, which in that case, good on them. They made sure to protect Karen, which is absolutely priority number one. So yeah, kind of reveals that they were all shielding Karen. They end up thankfully waking up Karen. She's all good. Got a lot of kick out of the fact that she's like, the moment she wakes up, she's like, where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? Let me at them. And then following this, she's getting bandaged up and she's like, am I still pretty? I'm still pretty, right? I'm still cute, right? Karen's so great. I love her to death. So yeah, to cover the rest of what happened on the Goblin Knight side of everything is they basically look for any of this explosive that didn't go off, and they end up finding some of them and they stick them up inside of the roof of the actual place they're at, which explodes and lets the water in, and they're able to get out. And then they have this moment of conflict, obviously, because, yes, they've already established the coordinates of the place they're trying to get to, which, from Shaitan's perspective, is a completion of their mission. And this is where we do get a confirmation that pretty much nobody else knows the actual full mission except for Shaitan. And Shaitan tells them, look, our first priority was to find the location of this Eden. Everything else doesn't matter. And basically, let Fina go. We're good. I've already let note to Yukihisa, and he's already sent Kei. And this is, again, where we kind of establish this idea that everybody is very terrified of Kei. And this is kind of an interesting point because, yeah, like Tsubaki's first reaction is he going to kill us? Like, they already have this mentality that when Kei shows up, apparently somebody's going to get punished, or it's something very important. It seems to be the two ideas they give there. So yeah, Shaitan's basically saying, we've got what we need. We're supposed to go back to the island. If we go after Fina right now, we are basically breaking the law. Like, we are going against a direct order. Our priority was to find those coordinates. That's all that mattered. Fina was basically a tool, which, like we kind of established early on, was probably going to be the case, that Fina was just a tool, and the actual goal is this treasure. And Yukimaru ain't having none of it. He's like, okay, fine then. I'm getting on a boat. I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go get Fina myself. And all the rest of you stay here. There's no reason for us to all become criminals. And they're all obviously conflicted. Everybody wants to go back. The only one that really is set on going back to the island is Shaitan. The rest of them are very much conflicted, but Yukimaru takes the lead. Everybody else seemingly, after they mention the fact that Kei is on the way, everybody else seems to be terrified of the idea of even stepping a foot towards Fina. Now, my assumption is that in the next episode, we're going to have, this big battle happening, which we'll get into in a minute, and Yukimaru is going to be going there to save Fina, and then maybe having a little bit of trouble, and that's when everybody else is going to show up. I don't think, because this is one of those points where it establishes the pride of an individual. And I think what's going to happen is you still have to establish that the rest of these still see Fina as a part of their crew. And if they don't assist Yukimaru at this point, it's going to look like only Yukimaru cared. And so I believe at some point you're going to have the rest of the crew showing up to help Yukimaru get Fina, and that obviously is going to put them at odds with Kei, and they're probably going to have to fight a little bit, but then they're probably going to get forgiven in the end because they have the coordinates. So on Fina's side of things, yes, we do get a little conversation with Abel. It was funny because when Fina's first brought in with O'Malley, obviously she has like a cut here, her wrists are all bruised because she's been bound. And I was thinking this is going to be a moment where Abel was going to like strike O'Malley or something like that, but no, he's like, get out of here. I thought my orders were clear. Not a single scratch was supposed to be on this girl. And she's like, well, things don't really... And he's like, get out of here. But yeah, after O'Malley leaves, this is where we do get an idea. Yeah, Abel was looking for Fina for a long time, and he really does treasure her. Question mark's going to be, for what reason does he treasure her so much? But yes, he calls her his princess, and that he's been looking for her for like 10 years. And I thought that we were going to get into it like right off the bat, but what he basically says is that I knew your mother, been looking for you for 10 years. I think he immediately starts jumping into the goblins and kind of points out the idea that to her, that the goblin knights have been using her for this entire time. He starts talking about the tales behind the goblin knights, that they'll kill children and women indiscriminately, or without hesitation, and that they are the devils of the East. And through the conversations back and forth between what Shaitan was telling the crew and what Abel was telling Fina, we basically find out that, yeah, as predicted, with a little bit extra, that the Goblin Knights, basically their ancestors, were the original ones that were sent on a mission. That this legendary treasure had left the continent long ago, and it's enough treasure that it could actually build a nation. Like that, the value of it is that high. And this treasure apparently went to Eden, and that's what they're trying to search for. So their original ancestors of the Goblin Knights set out to find it. It was coincidental, apparently, that they found the island that the Hotman family was on, but the moment that he spoke the words of Eden, that's when they realized that the Hotman family had some sort of connection to what they've been searching for centuries. So that's why they became so set on following Fina, was that her memories could help them lead them to Eden. And that's where apparently this treasure is, this sword that apparently is super powerful somehow. And the final scene that we had with Abel and Fina was looking at the portrait that he was clawing at passionately. And this is where I'm not quite sure what they were implying here. I believe he claimed it to be be Fina's mother. And he states, Helena des Amoris, I hope I'm saying that right. And he says, this was your mother. Now, I'm not sure if it's saying, your name is Helena, and this is your mother, this is Jeanne d'Arc, or if it's implying that her mother is Helena, but she's descendant of Jeanne d'Arc. It seems like it's always been trying to push this idea that she is somehow related to Jeanne. But it could be that it is Fina, Helena, and then Jeanne, and that she's just a descendant of Jeanne and not necessarily her daughter. I forget the actual time frame they're sitting in, if it would match up as a daughter or a granddaughter. But at any rate, it's basically implying that she's related to Jeanne d'Arc, obviously. I'm not sure if it's implying that her name is Helena or not. So, interestingly enough, we did get a scene with Cody. And like I said before, I was kind of interested in what Cody was about. And thankfully, we had a little brief moment where Fina did talk to Cody. And in that conversation, we established that Cody was a slave within the plantations of Maxver. And due to the grace of Abel, he was basically saved. So that would basically confirm why Cody was so cold to Xavier when he was thrown off the side of the boat. Like I said, I still think that he's still alive. You can't put Kendra Suda in a show and not have him, last for more than 2 episodes. But the odd thing about Cody is that it's implying that I'm assuming he's somehow connected to a bloodline of seers or something like that, because he speaks in riddles that are almost prophetic. Because when he's talking to Fena, he immediately starts jumping into the idea that you can't choose between the clouds and the blue sea. So he's already basically stating the same thing that Fina's seen in the vision. So he's obviously special somehow, and that's probably something that Abel's seen in him. The poor guy gets beat around like crazy with O'Malley, because she ends up showing back up because she sees this pendant that one of her crew members stole from Fina. And this is a weird part, because this is obviously the pendant that Fina had on her. So what's implying is that when they captured Fina, she swapped out the pendant that Fina was wearing and kept it. Fina went back to the ship. Abel took that fake pendant from him. He's looking at it and talking about how he said something like, I had an appointed task, Helena, and I finally get to see you. So this is where it's implying that it's not necessarily Fina that's Helena, it's her mother that's Helena. So apparently Fina's mother, Helena, he's saying that I was appointed a task as well, and that he's going to see her soon. So it seems like Abel's pretty obsessed with Helena, who is implied to be Fina's mother, and so that would explain why he basically treasures her so much. But even still, it does feel like he's just using her. So the pendant, I don't know if it's a symbol of something or if it's going to be significant of some sort, but the fact that O'Malley has it does put Abel at a disadvantage, because he believes he has something that he needs, but he doesn't. But yeah, this follows with basically as Cody's leaving, O'Malley is handed this pendant from one of her crew members. She freaks out because she claims that she gave that pendant to Abel. Why did Fena have it? And so jealousy starts setting in. So she comes in there, starts basically attacking Fena. says, give me the answers. Why'd you get this? What is he to you? And as she's taking him out, that's when Abel shows up and basically with a load of soldiers says, basically, put her down, I'm going to shoot you. So she gives up Fena, leaves the ship. And this is where we're implying, as they're sitting on their ship, this ain't over. And you cannot scorn a woman, especially a strong woman, and get away with it. So as they're saying, well, we need Fina to get the treasure. We have the coordinates already. And that's when O'Malley says, turn the ship, get the cannons ready. So I'm assuming opening up the next episode, all heck's going to break loose as O'Malley is going to be shooting the crap out of Abel and his team just to steal Fina back, and I'm sure Yukimaru will slip in there at some point in the midst of that entire battle, which will give him basically the cover that he needs in order to rescue Fina, obviously. So quite a bit of build-up, quite a lot of information in this episode. Gonna be probably a full-out battle in the beginning of the next episode, and probably some rescue mission in the midst of the chaos. So my thoughts on this episode. So happy that Karen's okay. As the episode opened up, I'm like, you better not. Okay, she woke up, good. And then she's back to her goofy ways, so nothing wrong with her. Very intrigued by how terrified everybody was with Kay. The notice that he's coming. It seems like I said, it seems like he is almost like an executioner. Somebody they send on special tasks, because if you screw up, they send Kay, which, again, kind of increases. Now, it's interesting because they dealt with him so casually in the last episode. And so I don't know that it is as dire as they think it is. I think he's probably just known for being somebody that's set on very special missions. And that he's not as, I guess, black and white as they want to make him seem to be. That if he sees a situation, he probably won't be as set in stone, I will do exactly what my master says, because he seems very casual, like I said, casual in the last episode. But even still, it's enough for them to all basically be terrified of him, and Shatana not really turn against them. But like I said, I still think the rest of the crew is going to go help Fina. If they don't, it makes them look bad as characters, and I think that they're going to establish these people do see her as a crew member that they want to protect, because they've obviously spent a lot of time with her. Most of the stuff about Eden and all that stuff, like I said, pretty much fell in line with what I predicted, so nothing really special there for me personally. I kind of, like I said, I expected that it was some treasure that this group wanted to find. It being treasure that was from the East does make it a little different, makes it a lot more important for them to go find it. It is curious to see that O'Malley gave Abel the pendant, because that implies that O'Malley was involved with Abel long before Hope happened, because she would have given this pendant to Abel way back when, before she probably became a part of Hope, would have given Fena the pendant. Hope happened, she ran off to this island, and then eventually was picked up by the Goblin Knights. So I don't know. That's a curious part of it. I really don't get what the process there is, and if it's important at all. But that's my thoughts on episode 6 of Fina Pirate Princess. Definitely an excellent episode. Like I said, a lot of build up for what's coming up next. I think episode 7 is probably going to be a lot of fun, a lot of action, but we'll see. But that's my thoughts. Definitely leave a like down below if you like this video. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can, and y'all take care.